XPX3 or XP3, if you guys know what that means, in December will be automatically entered into a giveaway. The prizes include a free lifetime license, one of 4 vacations at a state park, or one of 8 DNR gift bags. Those who purchase the X3 or XP3 options will get 3 entries into the contest. You can buy a 2021 license at wvhunt.com or through an official retailer. And we have a quick traffic update for you this noon. Work has begun on State Route 7 northbound for pavement patch repairs in Steubenville. Traffic will be reduced to 1 lane on 7 northbound from Wells Street to Washington Street. You'll want to watch out for any traffic pattern changes. The work is involving the removal of existing asphalt and replacing it with some new. Work is expected to be complete by tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated. And don't forget, Letters to Santa is back. All you have to do is send in a photo and a letter to Santa, and it could be read on air during our upcoming Home for the Holidays, a Loving Living Local holiday special. You can also send your photos and letters online to our website, WTRF.com. Be sure to attach your photo and put Christmas list in the description line. We'll have a look at your full weather coming up after the break.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Keep your car or truck on the road with big savings on automotive products from Menards. Get trailers down the road safely with Tow Smart products. Save now on a great selection of Tow Smart ball mounts, lights, and towing accessories. For cars, trucks, ATVs, and more, you'll save big money on our entire selection of Tow Smart ball mounts and accessories now at Menards. Prices are good through December 13th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Considerable cloud cover. Stray shower possible. Daytime high near 45. Better chance of seeing a scattered shower through the evening and the overnight with lows down to about 35. You'll see rain on and off for your Friday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors. Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Through the mirror of my mind, time after time, I see reflections of you and me. Reflections of the way life used to be. Reflections of the love you took from me. Oh, I'm all alone now. No love to shield
You know, Lola, I think you would have made a great disc jockey. What do you think?
Sure.
You're spinning all the hot wax. Oh, they don't do that anymore. Okay. Oh, yeah, people are buying records. My special guest, I just received his book last week, over the weekend. I've read about 45 pages. I'll tell you what has really impressed me about this latest book by Jim Wexell. He's on the line. He's on hold for a reason. I want to play what I thought, and I've never heard anything like this in 40 years. I've heard a lot of coaches and players rant, but as far as post-game comments, Mike Tomlin was epic last night. This is about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, and you'll like the ending of it and the beginning. Mike Tomlin, like the win, disappointed in the play of his players and his coaching staff. Here we go. Mike Tomlin press conference after beating Baltimore 19-14.
Varsity, to be quite honest with you, and it was in all three phases. We couldn't run the ball effectively when we needed to. We dropped too many significant passes, very catchable, makeable passes. We didn't make significant plays in the special teams game. Our kickoff coverage unit wasn't good enough. We turned the damn ball over. We gave up big plays in critical moments on defense. Can't have it. They converted a long run on a possession down before the half. Unacceptable. They had a 70-yard touchdown late in the game. Unacceptable. And so we're fortunate tonight. It's good to proceed with the victory. I acknowledge that, but not a lot happened tonight to be proud of or to be excited about. Other than that, Bud got hurt. He's being evaluated. I'm sure I'll have an update for you tomorrow or whatever when we get an opportunity to meet. Questions?
Mike Pursuta.
Mike, what do you attribute your assessment of the performance to there?
It was just bad by all parties involved, man. Coaches first, players second.
Will Graves.
Mike, did the disjointedness of the week, the schedule getting pushed back, have any effect on your preparation?
We make no excuses. We seek no comfort. We didn't play well or coach well tonight.
Dejan Kovacevic.
Mike, not just based on today, but throughout the season, James Washington's obviously been very reliable for you. What will it take for him to get more snaps, more targets?
You know, he answers the bell when called upon, and we're appreciative of that. Week to week, we make plans that benefit us in terms of a matchup, and sometimes it includes him and includes him heavily, and sometimes it doesn't.
Brooke Pryor.
Mike, you guys have a short week to address any of the problems that arose in this game. Do you guys have enough time to turn things around before you play Washington on Monday?
We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not some transformational thing that needs to transpire. We got to coach better and play better when we get inside a bowl. And so I expect our group to do that on Monday night or Monday evening, whenever it is that we play.
Jim Colony.
Yeah, Mike, you lost Pouncey on fairly short notice. How would you evaluate the play of Hassenauer?
I cannot give you a fair assessment of him, to be honest with you, without watching the tape. I appreciate his willingness to answer the bell and his overall general readiness in that regard. But I got to watch the tape to give you a fair, honest assessment from that perspective.
Jerry Dulac.
Mike, you had some red zone failures and a number of drop passes. What do you attribute that to? Anything in particular?
Us sucking.
Mark Caboli.
On the line is Jim Wexell. Can you imagine Chuck Noll saying that? Us sucking, Jim?
It's better after a win.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought junior varsity, I like it.
Yes, I could imagine Noel saying that.
Yeah.
But, you know, sucking is more in vogue these days than back then. But, yeah, you know, us sucking.
It's unbelievable. I had to play that. I mean, I heard it a couple of times this morning. I listened to it last night driving home. And, you know, they won. But if you listen to Mike Tomlin, it was okay. But I wouldn't want to be a coach or a player at the next practice. I don't know. But Bud Dupree.
I think part of it's Bud, yeah. I think part of his saltiness was losing Bud.
Yep. That's a big-time loss. So would you bring in a Clay Matthews or somebody like that?
No.
Okay.
No. Somebody told me James Harrison's making noise about coming back.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, Alex Highsmith has really shown a lot as a rookie.
Yeah.
And the guy behind him, Ola, who wears Harrison's number, who's built like Harrison,
Yeah.
who jolts people on special teams like Harrison did. You know, he causes a lot of fumbles, Ola. I assume he's been working hard as a backup and looking for his chance, and deserves a chance like Harrison once had. Old number 92 way back some time ago. So I don't see a veteran. I think they have a couple of good guys.
I kind of disagree with Roger Goodell when he called last night's game a great game. I think it was far from great. It was interesting, but far from great. That Steelers offense, 1 TD and 4 trips to the red zone. They turned the ball
It was a
over.
pretty bad game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty bad game, yeah.
But they won. That's all that counts, right?
Yeah, well, they lost their guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see how much that counts. And then, you know, the other thing that's got Tomlin a headache, and all of us who are working every day have a headache, is Washington. Turn around, here's Washington, a team you don't know at all. On a Monday, a weird time, you know, come on. But and he has to present a good front on that regard. So his saltiness emerges in other avenues.
Probably no one's more depressed than T.J. Watt, because he and Bud, you know, they were like great friends and they helped each other on the field. So we're going to have to wait and see what's down the road. I don't know.
Right, they do help each other on the field. You know, you can't. It was hard to block both of them. That's Tomlin knows. That's what is so important about tandems. You know, look at their championship teams. They had tandems. Yep.
All right, let me see. I got to put this up on Facebook. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Nice cover. Palomalo.
It's more than nice. It's more than nice, Billy.
Well, can you wait a couple minutes? Like, I'm going to pay you a great compliment.
Okay, all right.
Palomalo by Jim Wexell. He's put out a few books. This is his best. I can't wait for the next book. All right, you see it, friends? Okay. I got to tell you, I'll tell you right off the bat, I get a lot of sports books in the mail, some free, some not. I'll go buy a book. I bought a Brady Belichick book. I think it was on sale, whatever. I have never, ever, Mr. Wexell, seen a bunch of pictures in the middle of the book in color. What a great idea. I mean, it looks, I would just buy it for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what is it, 10 pages of color. It's amazing.
16 pages.
Yeah, 16, okay.
But, you know, this is high quality book.
Oh, it is.
And just let me just say this, and I'm not to brag and not even to try to sell it, just for the reader's information. I self-published, and according to the self-publishing manual, I should charge $40 for that book, and I thought that 40 is too high.
Yeah.
And so I've made it $32.95. 33 was a key number. There's 33 chapters in that. Troy retired at 33, and you know, that's a number with Jesus too. I believe he was crucified at 33. You could correct me on that.
Okay.
I hesitate to bring this up because I'm not smart enough. Troy explained it in the book, and I noticed that next chapter was 33. So anyway, I made it $33, and you're getting $7 value right off the bat.
Yeah.
I'm $40 books, but that was what the manual, because you know we put quality into that.
Oh.
We had a chance. I had a chance to save $10,000 by having it done in China. And China promised a quick return for Christmas. A plant in Wisconsin charged more, but guaranteed that my book would be here by Black Friday, on sale for Thanksgiving. And I believe that. I believe in the freight system of America. I don't know what's going on when they call me and say, hey, your boat, there's a war, whatever, your boat's out there. So I took the Wisconsin bid, and boy, they put love into it. It's just a heavy book, but it's 430 pages. And I made a joke to one of the reviewers for the Post-Gazette. I said, it's a heavy book. I can't believe it doesn't look like it. 430 pages isn't that big. But he goes, well, Troy's a deep topic, a heavy topic. So, yeah.
I think you spent $8 or $9 to send it to me. I'm not sure.
Well, Billy, I tell you, you're looking a gift horse in the mouth just the way Mike Tomlin did last night. No.
Okay, all right. Let's
I just want you, I think it's gorgeous. And
it is.
I didn't design it. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I just told you how well put together it is. It's a great value. And, a kid gets this book. And this is the pillar of his library because of the topic, of course, but how beautiful it is.
It's a beautiful.
And if you take that jacket off, if you look at the black, it's Bible-esque.
Oh yeah, I never noticed that. I just took the cover off. It looked, it's like the Bible. Holy Palomolo!
That's a pitch black with quality cover, and with Polamalu across the front in gold.
In gold, yeah.
And so, it's beautiful. And now we haven't even gotten to what's written inside of it. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. And the guy from the Post-Gazette who's reviewing it for this Sunday's paper told me that the Steeler Nation road trip book that I did 12 years ago he thought was the best Steeler book he had read. So he's reading this. Now, I don't know if he feels the same way you do, that it's my best, but I feel it's my best, and you feel it's my best. So you've only read 45 pages, but that first chapter, it grabs you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. First of all, when I received the book, it grabbed me. Wow.
When you what?
It grabbed me. What a beautiful presentation, I'm thinking,
Well, yeah, I keep getting, but I'm giving that to my graphic designer, Pam Diana. She did that. I mean, she did all this. And I told her, she's like, well, what do you want this? What do you want that? And I'm like, hey, I don't even know what the choices are, and I don't know how to define them. You pick. As long as it's not too expensive, this is your baby. And so she did all this, and she communicated with the plant in Wisconsin, and it's expensive, and we're paying back our debt, and it's coming in. I mean, the money's coming in, and we're going to send it back out and pay the debt before even the profit. And we're kicking back 20% to Troy's charity. So we have a lot of things going on. You want to give. It's not on Amazon. Okay, let's get to the nuts and bolts of this for people. It's not on Amazon yet. We're still working. I even got a young person on it who understands computers. Okay. You got to recruit a kid if you want to get something done anymore.
That's true. That's true.
So, but right now it's on sale at jimwexell.com. Okay. JIMWEXELL. I mean, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm very accessible. So this website shouldn't be difficult to find. I know Amazon's real easy to find. Yep. We're not there yet because, man, they're hard to work with. It's all automated. Yeah. And if you get a glitch, you can't talk to a human.
I know.
So anyway, we're working on it. And but right now, since we're doing it on my website and Amazon can't take 20%, we're sending 20% to Polamalu's charity.
What's his charity, by the way?
Troy and Theodora Polamalu Foundation. There's an umbrella of things. It was a lot of Samoa, and there's a lot of work that needs done in Samoa, and it's a football haven, and those kids, they have no shoes and they play on lava rock. Yeah. So that's a big thing for Troy, but also it's not something Americans are giving readily to, I think. And so I believe it's a Wounded Warriors. He has that umbrella under the foundation now. So you're also helping Wounded Warriors. I should get this exactly straight before these questions. I apologize.
No, that's all right. You're doing fine. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to know, first of all, when did you start on this book? Because it's a who's who of who you've interviewed. Ex-Steelers, current Steelers. I mean, it's everybody. You don't even have, did you interview Roger Goodell?
No,
okay.
No. I didn't interview Paul Hackett either. I'm not doing that stuff. Paul Hackett was his coach at 2 years at USC.
Yeah, that's right.
And he got fired. And we all know Hackett around here. Right. I'm not calling him and letting him put his little spin on this.
That's right.
This is a Pete Carroll project.
Yeah. Pete
Carroll came in his third year. No, Hackett has a good football mind. Don't get me wrong. But we know, his stuff's described in the book about what the players felt about Hackett. Nothing bad, just that he was more of an egghead. He was an X's and O's genius. But he probably had trouble communicating with college kids.
Yep.
I mean, he had 2 stints, but he was at USC. He didn't do too bad. He did recruit Polamalu, and at one point, Polamalu was barely on in the story. He wasn't in the story announcing the USC recruiting class. He was just in the agate. And Hackett said at the end, this class, I like this class a lot. We got some linebackers, some defensive linemen. I wish we could have done better with the defensive backs and the out-of-state players. And I wrote, Hackett, who had just recruited the greatest defensive back from out of state in school history, simply shrugged his shoulders at the signing of Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, this football field that I'm looking at, beautiful mountains or whatever in the background, but it looks like it's just there. I don't even see any seats.
Well, that's Douglas High. That's where he went to school in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, you asked me how many years. I started this about 2010, and I interviewed Pete Carroll in 2011. So when I started in 2019, and I have a long explanation on my website about. It's kind of entertaining on my website if you want to read the blog, if you have some time. What truly got me kick-started in writing it this year, and it wasn't the corona, it wasn't the quarantine. I started before that. It was actually the draft, that the Steelers had no draft because they traded it all away. So I thought, I better get going. He's getting into the Hall of Fame. So all those years of interviews I put together, but this year's interviews were the biggies. Tomlin, Cowher, Joey Porter, all for an hour, Kiesel an hour and a half, Mike Logan an hour and a half, Ryan Clark an hour, Ike Taylor an hour. The other guys, Chris Hope and Carson Palmer, were done years ago. But Troy kept saying, wait 5 years and then I'll sit down with you. Well, he just never wanted to sit down. And I had 12 years of active interviews with him that I had kept in meticulous order. And he and I were close, and he would say some things that were very thoughtful at the time about how he felt about things, and which, if he were to sit down today, he might not even have those same opinions. He would probably just pour humility all over all of this stuff, and I'm not having that either. Ryan Clark, when he tells me about Troy's genius on a particular play and why that no one else could do what Troy did on whatever play we're talking about, Troy would never go into that. No. Troy would never say, well, I'm a genius because I did this. No, let Ryan Clark tell your story. And so that's what we have. And you notice that all of these other people coming to tell the story, and they advance the entire story along as a movie script type. Yeah. And you come along and you go, oh, Joey Porter's back in this chapter. Oh, cool. Because Joey's so fun. Wait till you get to the Steelers stuff. You did. There's a draft story on the Steelers that opens the book, and then we go into his ancestry in Samoa, and then his growing up, and then his high school, and then college. And then we get to the Steelers for about, 3/5 of the book, or 2/3 even, is all, hey, there's 3 Super Bowl championships that needed to be talked about. And so that's why it's 430 pages. But it really moves. It's not, I don't beat stuff over the head. I was just moving along. So I really enjoyed writing it. And I'm glad all the people I've talked to enjoy reading it so far. And I even reread it, and I'm my worst critic. And I like what I'm reading. I'm like, this is good. This is going to work.
Yep. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. I want you to hang on. I want you to keep talking about the book. When we come back, if I forget, because I forget things that I do in a couple minutes, but I know what I did 20 years ago, we'll talk about Troy Polamalu as a baseball player and a basketball player. And I'll give you time to think about it. If there's a movie, the Troy Polamalu story, who do you think would play Troy? All right? You think about that, and we'll be back. I'm Bill DeFabio. Across the way, Lola, we're the Odd Couple, and we're on AM 1600, and we're the Watchdog.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey, buddy! Yeah? You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go, 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure, I mean, you being a mountain climber and all.
Yep.
You probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Give the gift of safety and security with AAA. Save $20 on a new gift membership, plus add a second eligible member for free and get a free $10 gift card. Call or visit your local office or AAA.com/AAA gift.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
It's the Christmas traditions that make this time of year so special. Like spending time with family and friends, the spirit of giving, remembering our blessings.
May your holidays be truly bright. Merry Christmas from Main Street Bank.
In a hurry and need to see a doctor? The Woodsdale Health Center and Walk-In Clinic is located across from Little Caesars on National Road. Open 7 to 7 Monday through Friday. Patients can receive primary care, treatment of minor illnesses and injuries, wellness visits and physicals. There's also a lab draw station open from 8 to noon weekdays. A division of Wheeling Hospital, the Woodsdale Health Center is led by family physician Dr. Michael Wilson. Call 304-234-1971. They'll take good care of you.
Throughout the Ohio Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
Have a festive adventure at Wheeling's Historic Center Market. Discover a unique mix of specialty shops and quality eateries. Hunt for the perfect gift or gift card at Center Market. Find everything from art, antiques, coffees, wine and craft beers, cigars and fine olive oils, to fresh seafood, local honey, jewelry, vintage decor, toys, and clothing. Meet friends and explore this iconic holiday shopping destination. Experience Wheeling's Historic Center Market.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. Charleston Police Chief Tyke Hunt delivering the news last night about one of his officers wounded this week in the line of duty.
With a heavy heart, I hate to say that she is not going to be able to pull through this. She is still fighting, but her body is unable to sustain life by itself.
Police Officer Cassie Johnson, shot in what started as a routine call Tuesday, was removed from life support Wednesday. During a vigil last night at Charleston's Lately Field, her mother, Cheryl Johnson, addressed hundreds who had gathered to remember her and embrace the family.
I never dreamed until this happened how many people in this community loved her. And that means more to me than anything in this world.
Johnson was an organ donor and called becoming a Charleston police officer the realization of a lifelong dream. Elsewhere this morning, Governor Jim Justice touting a new program that will allow for self-testing at home for COVID-19, a partnership between the state and a company called Vault Health.
Any fees will be waived once a West Virginia address is entered on the Vault Health site.
Information about testing options, including the mail-in test, is available at the DHHR website. In Barber County, a woman who shot and killed her husband as he slept last year will spend up to 40 years in prison. That's the maximum sentence that was handed to 24-year-old Carly Reed of Moatsville on Wednesday in a Philippi courtroom. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. In Berkeley County, a new sheriff is ready to take over. Nathan Harmon defeated incumbent Sheriff Curtis Keller in the election last month, and ever since has been spending time reviewing budgets and scheduling training. Among his first acts, he says he will establish a drug interdiction team in the first 90 days of his administration aimed at saturating areas of Berkeley County that have a high crime rate. Foul trouble, late, and poor shooting doomed the Mountaineers last night against number 1 Gonzaga, West Virginia falling 87-82. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Hello, Ohio Valley. This is Kate Delaney inviting you to join me overnight here on The Watchdog. Whether it's talking to big names in entertainment or sports, discussing the latest political news, or just chatting about life, I'll be here to keep you company on The Watchdog, WVLY AM 1370, FM 97.7, or online at watchdognetwork.com.
We are back. On the line, author Jim Wexell. This is his 4th book, the second from his very own company, Pittsburgh Sports Publishing. And I went reading here. I didn't realize he was born in Chicago in 1960. Wait a minute, Wex. I can't be 9 years older than you. I look younger than you.
Ha ha. You better watch yourself, young man. Hey, you know, I just turned 60 a couple days ago.
How'd it feel?
I'm old man strong now, so don't mess with me.
Okay, all right.
You know what old man strong is, don't you?
No, you're going to explain it to me.
Oh, come on.
I'm old man
He's old
weak.
man strong. He's old man strong. You know, some of these old men always surprise young guys. Boom, 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 and all of a sudden they're out and down.
Yeah.
They say he's old man strong.
Yeah,
Just some old men just get stronger.
all right. Well, I know you're strong with the pen or typewriter. Well, we don't use typewriters anymore, do we? Computers, whatever.
Right now, I'm using black felt tip magic marker to sign books and write out addresses. It is my own company. My daughter is over here, and she has an actor, by the way, for you.
Okay.
She recommended one. She's not sure, but I mean, nobody could play Troy in a movie.
No.
Didn't you ask the listeners to?
No, I didn't ask the listeners. I'm asking you.
Oh.
That's for another
Yeah.
time when I ask the listeners.
Well, you know, Troy did all those commercials, and he knows Thomas Tull, and I think he always fancied himself being some kind of actor. When he was young, I didn't get into this too much, but you'll see it every now and then, how they would be saying, we made films during the time Troy was injured. Yeah. He started drinking 18 Mountain Dews a day, and we started making a lot of movies. Troy always loved the home movie and is a real ham, as an actor. So he would play himself. That's one thing. Okay. And my daughter said Dev Patel. Okay, that was interesting. And she also threw out The Rock, because The Rock's Samoan.
Oh, okay.
And,
That's right.
Troy.
That would be a good one.
Is a special athlete. So you've got to have somebody who's. And I said Juju. Juju makes a lot of films, doesn't he?
Yeah. He'll tell you how good of an actor he is. Yeah, okay.
Juju is he's a Samoan too.
Yeah, all right. Ask your daughter, or write it down while we're on the air, who would play Jim Wexell?
Who would play Jim Wexell? She has one, but she's daring not to say it. She knows better. She can't say it. Steve Carell. She thinks of me as Michael Scott.
Okay. You know what? Reading a few more pages and just leafing through the book, I came across a couple of quotes from, what was it, Joey Porter? And he talks about how people in the league, not just Steeler players, but opposing players, like when they went to the Pro Bowl or whatever, treated Troy like a rock star, and they couldn't wait to either sit next to him or have lunch with him or coffee or whatever.
Isn't that a great quote?
Yeah, yeah.
He is the Pro Bowler's Pro Bowler.
Wow.
People wanted to be near him, and Joey always sensed that when he went to those games. And he said, and that's how it's going to be with the Hall of Fame class. Every Hall of Fame class has one who stands out. He said Troy's going to be that guy when he goes in. He's going to be the one everybody leans to and listens in on. And,
Grown-ups
Troy,
getting autographs.
Pros, Hall of Famers getting autographs.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be Troy. Troy might ask for one in response just to be kind.
Yeah.
But there's one question in the book. I asked Troy, do you have, one of those trophy rooms? He goes, yeah, it's in boxes in my attic.
He's the one thing I disagree with, 278, because I remember the 76 Steeler team. The defense had 5 shutouts. I guess it was Dick LeBeau. His 2008 defense led the NFL in fewest points allowed. And one of the giants among front office people, the former Cowboy vice president, Gil Brandt, player personnel, then working for NFL.com now, said that this defense in 2008 was better than the Steel Curtain. You agree? Better than the 76 team?
Well, the point they went on to make is that these stats are like out of 1960, and these offenses are not out of 1960.
That's true.
You can read through that and come up with your own opinion. As Cam Hayward said later, Cam was a fan watching from his Ohio State dorm room. Cam said if that defense didn't give up those couple of big plays in the Super Bowl, that it would have been regarded more highly. And maybe Cam said it would have been considered the greatest defense of all time. And statistically, LeBeau makes a point. They're just they finished first in everything. They finished first in rushing defense by, I think, 50 yards. So they were second. But to be on top of every category like that would have been the first time. It's in the book since whatever. But everybody looks at the Steel Curtain, the 85 Bears, and, those kind of defenses, and that's fine. That's, I don't know that anything's ever going to be better than the Steel Curtain for the number of years they did what they did.
Okay. Briefly, talk about meeting his relatives and his family. That had to be a treat, not only for your story, but just for human kindness.
Well, let me just tell you, Shelley Polamalu is the aunt who raised him in Oregon as his de facto mother. She got him when he was 9. She was married to Big Salou, the oldest of 11 Pola or Polamalu family, aunts and uncles of Troy. Troy's mother was a sister in that 11 grouping that came from Samoa to California, and Salou went to Oregon. He was the oldest. He married Shelley, a Texan. They lived in Oregon. And so Shelley worked for the school, and she was a member of my site, Steel City Insider. She was a subscriber. When Troy got drafted, she wanted to find out the best information. She thought it was me, and God love her. And so when I did my Steeler Nation book, I wanted to go through Oregon, and Shelley had been in contact. If you look through past clippings or the early years, Shelley is quoted a bit by people like Joe Starkey and Jerry Dulac, things like that. And so Shelley was a contact. She was a good communicator. She was sitting in the high school office working at Douglas High, and she facilitated my trip there. She introduced me around, and I got to meet everybody then. And that's when the idea, I think, in her, I don't know if she said, hey, why don't you write a book? But when I decided to write a book, she was the contact person. So Shelley, and last night she got her book. She said she couldn't put it down. She loves it so much. She said, she wrote me and she goes, we're having dinner. Brandon, who's a key figure in this book, Troy's cousin, Brandon, who's now a professor in college. That's how insightful he was in the book. You've probably run across Brandon in 45 pages, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So Brandon was coming over for dinner, and he was going to get his book. And she said, I can't wait till dinner's over so I can get back to it. So that made me feel very good. So that's how I got to know the family, and it grew from there.
And I didn't realize it. I knew he played some baseball, but I didn't know as a young Troy he excelled in baseball and basketball, and then, of course, football is the rest of the story. He was a pretty good athlete.
Well, I mean, you're preaching to the choir there. We've all watched him play.
Yeah.
You can see what comes out in the you'll see in the USC years is his dunking ability. And I'm not going to ruin that story for you, but he is a great athlete. He wasn't much of a shooter, but he was a spark plug, a two-guard, a defender, a shutdown guy, a guy who really pressured the defense and handled the ball, but not much of a shooter apparently. And he was always the second leading scorer to his best friend, and they grew up together. They have, Troy's in Oregon. Shelley's Place has a basketball court and a press box. So as critical of the press as Troy could be, he's still sitting in that press box as a kid, announcing, calling the action at some point.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they still have that press box up. There's a picture of it in there. But baseball was, everybody thought he was going to go there because his football, except for the guys like his oldest cousin Joe Polamalu, who was in coaching, they knew he was a football prospect. Uncle Kennedy knew. But everybody else thought he might be too small for football and thought baseball was it. Because you can imagine him in center field. They said he gobbled up everything.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And as a leadoff hitter. And he was a switch hitter, too. And so you had all that going for you. And he loved the game.
Yeah.
And so he got a scholarship to USC to play baseball, too. And the year he went out, the previous year, USC was the national champ. So that was a proud program. And, yeah, they wanted Troy, especially if football was going to pay for the scholarship.
Yeah. That's great.
So he went out there, but he never did play baseball. It was a great baseball story. And I'll tell you this one. Hackett got fired, and so Troy thought, now with no coach, I can go play baseball. So he went out to practice with the USC baseball team, and Mark Pryor was pitching. He said, the first off-speed pitch, I said to myself, I'm out of my element here. This is not something you could take off for 2 years and step back into it. I'll glad. And when Carroll got hired and told him, hey, Troy, I've been watching tape. We're going to do a lot of special things with you. I don't want you playing baseball, wasting your time. We've got too much work to do this spring. Troy said, that's fine. I've tried batting against Mark Pryor. Thank you for taking me out of this. I don't belong here. But you could imagine he would belong there if he played year-round like all the kids do now. And that's what it requires. Baseball, guys like Dick Groat, that's just uncommon stuff. So when all these guys are talking about, you got to play multiple sports in high school, it's best for you. No, you can't. If you want to stay up there with the baseball players, you can't be doing all that other stuff. It's just a fact of life. We all wish it wasn't, but it is. Yeah. Sometimes you have to focus on one sport, and baseball's one of those sports.
Yeah. Once again, this is a great stocking stuffer, although it's a heavy-duty book.
Yeah, it's a gift.
It's a great gift.
You got to wrap that sucker, and it's heavy. Don't be breaking down your chimney and putting it in a stocking.
What you should do, even if you don't have to be a Steeler fan, just a football fan, just a fan of anyone who's had a tremendous career and a great story, it's Polamalu by Jim Wexell. And before I forget, we have about 10 minutes. Wexell, Jim at gmail.com or jimwexell.com.
Not my email address. Jim Wexell, Wexell.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Well, I won't give your phone number either. What's DeFabio doing to me? He's getting back at me some of those difficult times we had on Steeler road trips. I wouldn't do that, Jim.
Let me say this about, I think the book belongs in every kid, sports-minded kid, girl or boy.
Yep.
This guy did everything the right way, but he's not boring.
Yep.
So everything. And let Joey Porter and Alan Faneca, let them throw the salty language around to keep us amused. Yeah. But Troy, St. Troy, everything's full of grace, and it was beautiful to write about him, and all his teammates loved to talk about how special he was and things he did.
And you never bothered him when he was in the middle of a prayer, which was all the time, it seemed. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a story in the book where Cowher found, Troy told Cowher that a lot of that was faking. He thought Cowher was mad. He told Chris Hope, hey, when Coach Cowher's mad and comes looking for me, tell him I'm praying.
Hey, I understand your daughter's there, right?
She just walked in the other room now.
Did she have a good soccer career this past fall or whenever they played?
Well, it's her junior year, and it's COVID year. You know, they're pushed back into the spring. The MAC is all in the spring, and she got in really great shape over the summer or last spring to get into spring ball.
Yeah.
And everything's been put on hold, so she's had to hold that great shape, you know, and she's dying to play because she said she had a great practice year, so she's excited that she's in. They all get another year. They get the year over, eligibility-wise.
What did she think of Sarah Fuller?
Sarah who?
Sarah Fuller, the girl from Vanderbilt that kicked
Well,
off
if
for
she
the
was
football
in the
team.
room, I would ask her, but she's not in the room. So.
I'll wait till you write a book about her, okay? How about that? Hey, I got to ask you, how are you going to top this one? It's going to be hard
Jack
to
Lambert.
top.
You know, there are two white whales in Pittsburgh sports, and Troy was number 2. Oh, boy. So, did I answer your question? I kind of quieted you down, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, because I just think of Super Bowl 13, the Marriott in Miami. I was at the bar. Lambert was at the bar. We're the only two at the bar, and he said, come over and have a drink with me. I said, okay, what are you drinking? I said, Diet Coke. He said, you don't drink Diet Coke with Jack Lambert. I said, Jack, I thought I was a he-man. I'll drink whatever you're drinking. We had like Jim Beam. After about 2 or 3 Jim Beam, I think he helped me to my room. But that's going to be a great book. Oh.
Well, Ivan, let me get through this one first.
Yeah.
I haven't, but that would be a goal. Yeah.
Hey, did you get any quotes from Ed Reed? You know, the two have been compared as like
No.
the best. Okay.
No. I tried to get Terrell Suggs.
Oh,
he didn't return a call. Well, Terrell was in the Pac-10 with Troy. Terrell was the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the year Troy came out for the draft. They were both drafted. And Troy was like, the 16th, 17th pick. And there were several defensive players drafted ahead of him, but he's the only one in the Hall of Fame. And I would say Suggs is the only other person in that class, a defender in that class, who could go to the Hall. So I wanted him. I mean, he would have been great.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember I used to talk about Ball So Hard University with him in conference calls, and he loved that. So he's fun that way. He respected Pittsburgh. He loved it, but he's always talking about, that's the school he went to. And when Terrell Suggs, Ball So Hard University.
I'm disappointed in you, though, Jim.
For what?
If you were in my sports office that I work out of, you'll see about 45 to 50 books on a shelf, all signed, like Pete Rose, Gaylord Perry, and so on. All right? I even got a book signed by Walter Payton. I was looking in here. I was going to say, to the very best, my friend, Bill. Okay?
No, these are all media copies. You get it for free, so you don't get love. See?
But I'm going to make money off of this book. When I'm done, I'm going to sell it to Lola for $50.
You can do that.
I
wouldn't
do that.
Or I can sign it to you later, but when I send out the media copies,
No,
they
that's
don't
okay. That's okay. I'm glad. I'm glad I got a copy, and I'm glad, like some people, send you paperback books. This is the real deal, man.
Man, I'm not. I didn't say I was a smart businessman, but it reads well.
It sure does. It sure does. I thought, after about 40. Hold on, I'll tell you right now where I am. 40. Actually, it's 51. Is right after Shelley Palamo.
What part?
Brandon. Don't remember that. Yeah, it's on my next read, which will probably be tonight, on page 50. Now, I don't have a football game this weekend.
What are we talking about?
That's where I am so far in the book.
What's Shelley and Brandon talking about?
Shelley was talking about working the ticket booth one night.
Oh, that's when Troy fooled them all with the bruised kidney.
Yeah.
He was told not to play, but he told them all he had a note. Nobody checked. Everyone was just so glad he was playing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story. You'll like that one.
Okay, all right. I like everything about the book. Yeah, it's one of
Thanks.
the best, you know. I have
Thanks,
to.
man.
I think my favorite book was Ball 4, because I didn't realize some of the things that happened with some of the great Yankees of all time, you know.
Mhm.
And I got to meet Jim Bouton, and he signed my book, by the way. But that's okay. But this is a good one. This is a classic book.
Let me throw this little biography example. I got my daughter the Hope Solo biography because, as you know, she's a goalkeeper for Ohio U.
Yep.
And this was when she was younger, and you know, you wanted Hope to be your idol, and you read through it, and there's stories of Hope's experimentation with lesbianism and drugs in college, and you're like, oh man, you know, my girl's too young for. I enjoy reading this stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, so I told Troy, I said, Troy, I'm trying to sell him on this idea. The world needs biographies of people like you. I told him what I had just done, you know, bought for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I couldn't find bad stuff about you if I actually tried. And that's the kind of biographies we need nowadays. And he agreed, but then he would not agree to do it. But, you know, he a lot of his friends from Southern California and his family that are in the southern part of his world, they would call him and say, hey, I got this guy calling me for talk to you about a book. Should I? And he would say, oh, yeah, I'm not doing it. And I told everybody, hey, Troy's not doing this. He's not interviewing, but I have 12 years of interviews with him. But he doesn't mind me doing this. It's not like he's against it. And so they all called me back, and USC sent a bunch of pictures, and you know, everybody was good with it. It's just Troy just doesn't want to talk about himself for 8 hours at a stretch.
Hey, we're running out of time.
Okay.
We're going to cover this again right before Christmas because I think it's a great Christmas gift. All right?
Well, you got your induction. You got your Mother's Day. You know, women love Troy.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
you got Father's Day. We got all these selling periods. It's out in enough time. So there's time because he's getting inducted next August.
Yeah, JimWexel.com. Check it out.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right. A book on Jack Lambert. Whew. There'll be some nasty stuff in that one that I can even contribute. Yeah, you don't drink Diet Coke with Jack Lambert, and the look he gave me. Me, being a wise ass, said, I'll drink anything you drink, Jack. Yeah. I can't remember if I got sick or not. Hey, we're going to go from football to baseball talk. The Pirates have made some moves. Should the National and American League both have the designated hitter? Our baseball expert is next. The voice of the Pirates, Greg Brown. Stay tuned on AM 1600 because we are the Watchdog.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers has introduced a $908 billion bill, a compromise between Democrats and Republicans. President Trump in the past hour says he'll likely back it.
I want it to happen, and I believe that they're getting very close to a deal. Yeah.
You'll support it?
I will, absolutely.
Senate Democratic Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
The Republican leader came to the floor this morning to say compromise is within reach, his words, before reiterating a long list of Republican demands and blaming the Democrats for everything.
Well, U.S. regulators could okay a COVID vaccine next week. Distribution will take months, and with numbers surging, these next 3 months will be really bad, say CDC officials. Epidemiologist and ABC News contributor Dr. John Brownstein.
We are in a humanitarian crisis with this pandemic.
More than 2,800 people in the U.S. have died from coronavirus in the last 24 hours, says Johns Hopkins University. President Trump's eldest daughter has been deposed.
Ivanka Trump sat for a deposition with the Washington, D.C. Attorney General's office, which has been investigating the spending habits of the Trump Inaugural Committee. The Constitution's Emoluments Clause prohibits the president from profiting from foreign governments, and the D.C. Attorney General has been looking into possible violations from stays at the Trump International Hotel in Washington. An attorney for the Trump Organization told ABC News Ivanka Trump's only involvement was connecting the parties and instructing the hotel to charge a fair market rate. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Powerful winds have pushed flames through Southern California canyons and out-of-control wildfires near homes in Orange County's Silverado Canyon. People are evacuating. Fire officials say the flames started yesterday and quickly spread to tinder dry brush. Hot, dry winds have raised fire danger. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm Dr. Stork. Today, better nutrition and stronger immunity are essential. That's why Eggland's Best gives you and your family more. Compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best provides 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 38% more lutein, plus more folate and iodine too, all to help you maintain a strong immune system and better overall health. These are no ordinary times, so why choose an ordinary egg? Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms could mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Another politician is apologizing for not following COVID restrictions.
Austin Mayor Steve Adler had this message to the Texas capital city on November 9th.
We need to, stay home if you can.
He said that while he was vacationing in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Now,
I'm sorry I took that trip.
Adler apologized in a Facebook Live video Wednesday night after his trip was reported by several local media outlets.
I recognize that the fact that I took that trip and at the same time was continuing to urge people to be cautious is confusing.
The Austin mayor says he did not travel for Thanksgiving nor plans to travel for Christmas, adding that no one should be making plans to do so. Dennis Foldy, ABC News, San Antonio.
A pro-democracy media mogul is taken into custody in Hong Kong. ABC's Brett Klinitz there.
Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai was denied bail on Thursday for allegedly breaking terms of a lease housing his Apple Daily, a pro-democracy tabloid, as a crackdown on Beijing critics in Hong Kong intensifies. The 71-year-old billionaire will have to remain in jail until the court hearing in mid-April. But his team said they will try to appeal for bail.
Following an internal investigation, the South African Lottery Commission has concluded their recent drawing was not rigged. This following the unusual winning numbers of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 20 winners will get $370,000 each. This is ABC News.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing discount drive-bys and mile-wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Chuck Severson, ABC News.
Have a festive adventure at Wheeling's Historic Center Market. Discover a unique mix of specialty shops and quality eateries. Hunt for the perfect gift or gift card at Center Market. Find everything from art, antiques, coffees, wine and craft beers, cigars and fine olive oils, to fresh seafood, local honey, jewelry, vintage decor, toys, and clothing. Meet friends and explore this iconic holiday shopping destination. Experience Wheeling's Historic Center Market.
In a world where Nailers hockey starts in December, where seating is very limited, and mini plans or season tickets are just a phone call away, are you ready? Call 304-234-GOAL. Call the Wheeling Nailers office for details. 304-234-GOAL. The Return, opening December 12th.
In a hurry and need to see a doctor? The Woodsdale Health Center and Walk-In Clinic is located across from Little Caesars on National Road. Open 7 to 7 Monday through Friday. Patients can receive primary care, treatment of minor illnesses and injuries, wellness visits and physicals. There's also a lap draw station open from 8 to noon weekdays. A division of Wheeling Hospital, the Woodsdale Health Center is led by family physician Dr. Michael Wilson. Call 304-234-1971. They'll take good care of you.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for you Thursday. Considerable cloud cover. Stray shower possible. Daytime high near 45. Better chance of seeing a scattered shower through the evening and the overnight with lows down to about 35. You'll see rain on and off for your Friday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Now it's time for Bill DeFabio on AM 1600 WKKX, The Watchdog.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, we started out with the Mike Tomlin press conference. JV team, I like that quote. Nothing beats us sucking, but Tomlin was cool. One of the epic post-game interviews I've ever heard. I think the worst thing Chuck Noll ever said, when I think it was either me or John Clayton asked him about Franco Harris going to Seattle, he said, Franco who? Come on, Chuck. Greg Brown who? Well, who is on the air? Hey, Greg, I'm tired of football. I'm tired of hearing people complaining about the Steelers aren't that good at 11-0. So I want to talk a little bit about baseball. Have you counted the days till spring training, if there is one? Hello?
Yo, Bill, gotcha. Hello, Bill.
Hey, hello, Greg. Are you on the moon? Hello.
I'm on the moon. I'm actually near Mars, literally.
Wow.
Literally near Mars.
Are you counting down the days to spring training, or we don't know when spring training will be held because of COVID-19?
Well, I mean, I'm counting down the days. I'm hopeful, but there's nothing, set yet. We just don't know for sure what we're going to do. I'm hopeful is all I'm telling people. I feel sorry for guys like Greg Johnson.
Oh, yeah, the travel
Greg
secretary.
Johnson.
Oh, yeah, the Kevin McHale lookalike.
Exactly, Kevin McHale.
He never liked that when I said, Kevin, how you doing? He didn't like that at all. And
I like that. I'm going to have to tell him that. I'm going to see what he says.
He'll know where you got it. He'll know where you got it.
Yeah, he'll know that.
Yeah, but it does look like him, okay. But, yeah, that's a tough job. And, one of the tougher jobs, high school or college, being an athletic director.
Oh, that's not easy. I know that.
Yeah. Well, tell me about Eric Gonzalez, who's making Greg Brown's salary, $1.2 million.
Yeah, well, he's got a ways to go before he reaches, my salary, but it's okay. He's young. He'll learn. I mean, I thought that the decision by the Pirates to tender him, give him a contract, spoke volumes about where they're headed with him, and in particular this regime, in Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton. Because going into last year, this is pre-COVID, going into the season, there was no doubt in my mind, they practically said it, that they were dead set on giving Gonzalez maybe as many as 500 at-bats. Wow. They wanted to see if he could play. And as it turns out, the COVID obviously cut back everyone's playing time, including his, though he did get, he got certainly his fair share in 60 games. Mm-hmm. He started out like a house on fire. I mean, he was tremendous, and then he cooled off considerably the last maybe 18 games. I think he hit 111, struck out a bunch. But Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton, and in particular Shelton knew him because of his time, I believe, with the Indians people. When Gonzalez played for the Indians, he's got still connections to Cleveland, as does Cherington. And they just thought that this guy was a good enough athlete that if he got enough at-bats, he could do some damage. And so as this, the tendering player contracts deadline last night, I thought to myself, well, we will know whether they believe that the 60-game experiment for Eric Gonzalez worked or not. Did they get a good enough look at him in 60 games to make that decision? If they felt like the 60 games he wasn't good enough, they would never have tendered him a contract. Now that they have offered him a contract and he will be here in 2021, that tells me they are going to play Eric Gonzalez somewhere. So it's kind of like going into 2020 with Eric Gonzalez. Much like 2020, they want to give him a ton of at-bats. They love his athleticism. He can pick it at shortstop, and they're going to give him at-bats. That's all there is to it.
Okay, well, that's good. And, it's 1.2 million, well, whatever. You're taking a chance. Yeah. You're taking a chance on a young guy, and, if it doesn't prove to be the real deal, you can write it off, whatever.
Well, it's interesting, too, Bill, because there are a lot of teams that surprised their fans last night, including the Chicago Cubs, who did not offer Kyle Schwarber a contract. They non-tendered Albert Almora, the center fielder. There was a story in, I don't know whether it was a CBS sports line, but anyway, last night, basically talking about the end of an era for the Chicago Cubs, that they are, John Lester is gone. Obviously, Joe Madden is gone.
The GM's gone, Theo.
Theo Epstein. Basically, it almost sounds, there was no explanation why Epstein walked away, but it sounds like he knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And he figured, I'm going to get out of here now because they're just going to be cutting payroll left and right. So I know it upsets Pirate fans. I have friends who've talked about it already. They're tired of hearing about cutting payroll, but that's what happens in the big leagues now, especially in the era of COVID and all the money that all these owners lost last year. They're going to find a way to cut back.
Yeah. But what about the Cubs? I mean, they have to sell more Wrigley chewing gum? I don't understand that.
It is hard to believe that a team like the Cubs in a city like Chicago, that they couldn't withstand some losses. But I guess it just tells you, no matter how big your market, these owners are not going to put up with losing a ton of money. The Cubs are one of many big market teams that are just bleeding red right now. I think the Dodgers might be the only team that I know of that seem to be in pretty good shape, of course, coming off the World Series win, but we'll see. I mean, there's still a whole lot to decipher after what happened yesterday, and there's still the arbitration process to take place. A lot of stuff will shake out. There have been a handful of pitchers, including Charlie Morton, who have signed 1 or 2 year deals at relatively, comparatively speaking, small salaries, certainly smaller than they're used to getting. That's an indication of what this market's going to be like. And it all leads up to a big question mark when it comes to 2021. When does the season begin? As of now, beginning of April, we hope spring training goes on as scheduled. But it's still a question mark. And also with the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA with the players due at the end of next year, 2021. Where is baseball headed with the players, with the owners, with the fans, with COVID? It's just there's a lot of unknown. It's a lot of uncertainty.
Would Kyle Schwarber look good in a Pirate uniform?
You sound like my son. My son called me right away and said, "Let's get him."
Yeah.
He said he'd be perfect, especially a DH. Well, if you DH Schwarber, then what do you get? You've already got two DHs in Moran and Bell, and we don't know about the DH in 2021. Commissioner Manfred has not committed to it. It sounds like maybe they're going to use it as a kind of a bargaining chip in the new CBA. So that's also a big unknown.
Now, the Pirates have, 10 players? Arbitration process?
I believe it's 10.
Yeah, Bell, Frazier, Poole, Moran, Stallings, Brunt, Crick, Musgrove, Rodriguez. That's 9. Oh,
okay.
Chris Stratton, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, Stratton, Chris Stratton. Yeah.
Okay.
10.
All right. I have no idea. It's like, I don't know anymore with any of the sports, but I'm wondering why the commissioner's waiting. Like you said, it's a bargaining chip, right?
Well, I think so, because that's a pretty big deal with the players. Some players claim that they are interested. They want the DH. Some managers, occasionally a general manager, will say they prefer it. It's a dicey situation because it's funny because when the DH was first implemented back in the early 70s, the idea was, first of all, to boost attendance in the American League. Attendance was lagging far behind the National League team, so the American League was looking for some kind of a jump start in attendance, and they thought by getting this designated hitter rule implemented, they would have some stars signed, just big boppers, and offense would explode and attendance would explode. Well, to a degree, offenses certainly went up. Obviously, you took the pitcher out of the equation, and the DH spot became, for a time, a high payroll, high salaried position, the designated hitter. There were some stars over the years that worked that role well and exclusively. But now what we've seen as time has gone on, like anything else, it has gotten to the point where the DH is basically just a spot in the manager's lineup where he can rest players on occasion and rotate. And that's what has happened. Now, in the case of the Pirates, they were going to rotate a bunch of players at the beginning of the year. As it turned out, at the very end, it became basically Moran and Bell bouncing back and forth between the DH and first base. But so anyway, it's no longer this exclusive. There are I think I did some research at the end of last season. There were in 2019, a total of 2 American League players who DH'd for more than 300 at bats. The majority of the season. And the one was Nelson Cruz. I think the other was Chris Davis. But the bottom line is it's not the position that they thought. And I think the players, if they did their research, they would find out that I think it's a wash. I don't think it's a big salary position anymore. And you cost players like Jose Osuna, who was a good pinch hitter for a couple years, and could spot start at third base, left field, right field, first base, a very good defensive first baseman. Well, because of the DH, you don't pinch hit as much with a designated hitter.
That's true.
You have your lineup set. You don't need to pinch hit for a pitcher, so you lose a position player. Jose Osuna is now going to be playing in Japan. It frustrates the heck out of me.
Well, flip the coin. I like to see guys that maybe without the DH, they'd retire right away. I remember Henry Aaron when the Milwaukee Brewers came to town at Fenway Park. And I was an intern serving coffee and whatever the visiting clubhouse people needed. And I remember Henry Aaron was the DH. What about David Ortiz,
Well, I think each example you have to take specifically and break it down. When it comes to a guy like Henry Aaron, that's very rare that an absolute superstar, the home run king at the time, just hangs on for another year or two. Now, there's another argument, Bill. do you like it when athletes hang on too long? Because you like that they hang on when you know they should have retired? Do you like seeing guys that are obviously well past their prime that are just hanging on for a paycheck, or maybe it's a desire by an owner to sell some tickets? I'm not a big fan of it. If you rewind the clock and you think about it, look at what Aaron did his last year as a DH. It really wasn't pretty, and so he hangs around to try and sell a ticket or two. Heck, you were talking about you're sick of football. I remember when was it Franco Harris? Did he get traded to Seattle, right?
And Chuck Noll said when we asked him how does it feel to be without Franco Harris, he said Franco who?
Yeah, okay, there you go. You talked about that at the start.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but as I recall, vaguely, Franco Harris was a shell of a man when he was with Seattle. I mean, his career was pretty much over.
Yeah. But you know what? I enjoyed Nelson Cruz, and he had a great year.
Yeah, but why can't Nelson Cruz grab a glove and play a position? I don't understand why we have to concede this. Baseball was meant to have 8 men on the field, 8 position players, any pitcher, and all 9 bring their gloves and then go to the bench and grab their bats. You defended your position and you hit. That's what baseball is all about. And I don't understand why there's this need to have a guy. They'd say, well, he can't play. He's no good defensively. Well, so what? Dick Stewart was terrible at first base for the Pirates.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's
Dr. Strangeglove.
Maybe it's because I know somebody who was a decent hitter but couldn't field, and he was a DH in college, you know?
Who's that?
You're talking to him.
Oh, well, see? Okay. So you were a DH in college. That's why you have an affinity toward the designated hitter. You like it because you were a DH.
Well, not really, but you know what? Henry Aaron, okay, maybe he hit 240 when he was with Milwaukee, but people paid to see a future Hall of Famer. David Ortiz came over from Minnesota, and you really didn't know that much about him. He became a DH, and he lasted for years and years and helped the Red Sox win a World Series.
All right,
he also played first base, Greg.
Let me ask you this, Bill.
Yeah.
Had the DH been available in the National League, let me ask this question. Let me put it a different way.
I'm listening.
Are you happy that the Pirates decided not to trade Willie Stargell to an American League team so he could DH? In other words, Stargell, his last couple years would have been 81, 82. His knees had taken their toll, and he could no longer play every day. He was basically used as a pinch hitter his last season. I'm glad that he started and ended his career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm glad that some American League team didn't scoop him up and play him as a DH his last couple years. Even though the Pirates didn't have a position for Willie Stargell, he still played on the team, and we still got a chance to see him finish out his career as a Pirate.
And there was what, 6 Willie Stargell days? Because I got all the programs.
There were a couple. I know that. I was very much involved.
I know you were. Another Willie Stargell celebration. I like it. All right.
Sell tickets.
Pros and cons as far as DH. If it keeps a guy like Osuna, who has to go to Japan or another country outside the United States, then I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. I got pros and cons.
Well, my reasoning for not liking it is not anywhere. My reason for not liking it is because it's a different ball game. The American League game is not nearly as good as the National League game. And for me, I guess it's all a matter of taste. I would love to do some kind of a poll of National League cities after they experienced what happened in 2020. Their teams, their National League clubs, their National League cities hosted a designated hitter. I'd like to find out what, just for those fans who watched those games for the first time, these National League teams that had designated hitters full time, did you prefer that brand of baseball? I'd be shocked if the majority of National League fans said, yeah, after watching 2020, we like that better than National League baseball. because I saw it all year long for 60 games anyway, and I did not like it nearly as much as the National League game. It's a better game when you have to concern yourself with the pitcher in that lineup. The manager has to worry about it when he's in that lineup. The opposing team, when an opposing pitcher is out on the field and he sees the pitcher is on the on-deck circle, he knows he can work around that number 8 man and get to that pitcher. Or he may have to concern himself in a close game that just maybe that guy warming up in the bullpen is not a decoy, and maybe that opposing manager is going to pinch hit for that pitcher that's on deck. So all these things, that's just barely scratches the surface of how much more interesting National League ball is compared to the American League.
Okay,
I mean, you might as well play a softball game if you're going to play with a DH.
We're going to break
It's
this
like
1-1 tie. You know who's going to break
Church
it?
League softball.
We're going to
Lola.
break this tie. Lola, her
An
Detroit
American
Tigers
League-
have a DH.
An American League fan. An American League fan.
Yeah, well.
Okay, Greg.
Here we go. Listen.
I so agree with you. I think it takes so much away from the game. First of all, I agree. When you see a player that, they can't run, they can't do anything, they might be able to hit it, but they can't run the bases, they can't do anything else. They should go away off into the sunset and enjoy their retirement. And second of all, I agree about the manager. It takes away this whole aspect of the game. How do you work around a pitcher that's batting? And there are a lot of pitchers that can hit. And, I just think it's baseball. It's pure baseball. When you don't have a DH, I have always been against it. And I've had, there's been some really great guys on the Tigers as a DH, but you know what? Go home. It's that simple.
Well, Lola, I'm glad to hear an American League fan say that. That is encouraging, and my hope is that momentum builds against the DH. I don't know where it's headed. I don't like the fact that people are just conceding it and throwing up their hands like, oh, nothing we can do about it. It's coming. Well, no, fight it. Fight it. Yeah. I think one of the things that's wrong with our country, to be honest with you, is that we're all like lemmings, like sheeple. We just, why not? Especially when it comes to sports. I mean, getting away from politics, but how about standing up for something? How about standing up for some tradition? How about fighting the idea that you're taking part of a tradition away, like the National League game? I just don't understand it. It frustrates the daylights out of me that people won't fight for something they believe in.
Greg, are you ready for this? You ready for this,
yeah.
Greg?
Yep.
Now that I think about it, maybe I've been wrong. Won't be the first time or the last time. But I do like the idea of pitchers batting. Because what if Greg Brown throws at me? When Greg Brown is up next,
That's exactly right.
When Greg Brown comes up next, we're going to hit you in the ass.
That's right. The pitcher always had to come to the plate.
Yep.
And had to. If I'm going to hit your guy, Steve Blass talked about that a lot. He said, on occasion, if Bob Gibson hit you, on occasion, you were asked to hit. He talked about that once. He had to do that for Gibson. I think Murtaugh came up and said, you know what you have to do now. And he says he was scared to death. But Gibson drops the bat, trots to first base, understood the deal.
Yep.
So there's so many things.
Yeah, I like
involved.
it. Okay, I hope they vote against it or don't have it. Let's keep it like it is, or else eliminate it completely. Nobody has it.
That's what I say.
Me too.
Don't bring the DH to the National League. Eliminate the DH in the American League.
Oh, I so agree with you. I so agree with you.
I'll agree with the both of you.
I did some research about this a couple years ago because all these fans were up in arms when I talked about getting rid of the DH in the American League, and they all make fun of the fact that pitcher bats, and I really want to see a guy go up there and strike out. Well, first of all, in this day and age, a starting pitcher bats maybe twice now because they're out of there after 5 innings at the most. Rarely do they bat more than 2 times, first of all. Secondly, pitchers that really work at it can get better, to Lola's point. Francisco Liriano was pathetic when he came to the Pirates from the American League. He worked at it in a couple years and became a decent hitter, and on occasion actually helped himself win some ball games. Thirdly, I did some research from American League. Some of the worst offenses in the American League, certain positions, shortstop was one, couple second basemen. You can check out batting averages of American League players, full-time players, some DHs, whose batting average hovered around 200. So what's the difference? You have a pitcher batting 150 or a position player hitting 200. Big deal.
You know what I would like to see is a survey of all the pitchers and how many of them would like to be able to bat, or would like to. And even in the National League, I'm sure they don't allow them to devote a whole lot of time to the batting cage. But, I'd like to know how many of those guys really would like to do. I know Verlander did. He loved to bat.
Well, I think it was Max Scherzer when he came from the Tigers to the National League. I think he was one guy that was kind of opposed to it, and then he turned out to like it because he knew that he could help himself. And he's a gamer. He's a player. He's a baseball player.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. It's unfortunate that and people, the other argument is, they don't, they've got the DH in the low minor leagues. High schools have the DH. Colleges have the DH. Again, I say don't concede that point. Why not start a revolution and get rid of the DH altogether throughout pros and amateur sports?
All right.
Eliminate it in high school and colleges. Let the pitchers hit.
Okay, Greg, I agree with you and Lola. Okay, let's close this out with looking back. I'm going to mention a name.
Yep.
You tell me what made him famous. Yesterday, on December 2nd, 1966, the Pirates traded Aussie Virgil and Joe Gibbon for a 5'9", 160-pound hitter named Matty Alou. What is Matty Alou famous for?
Well, many things. He won a batting title, of course.
Yeah, but what's Bob
he and
Prince?
two brothers.
Bob Prince?
He and two.
Can of corn?
He dropped the ball, yeah.
Yep. I think that was at Wrigley Field.
Steve Blass started that game.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yep. That was Steve Blass's game to win.
By the way, I remember a good hitting pitcher. I don't think you were born yet. I think it was 64, 65. Don Cardwell was a good hitter. He hit like 3 or 4 home runs one year. A pitcher.
Was he with the Cubs?
No, he was with the Pirates at that time.
Oh, Don, okay. No, I didn't know that.
All right.
Don Cardwell. I'll be darned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there were some good hitting pitchers.
All right.
In the past.
Let's just get rid of it altogether. How's that sound?
You can do it again. I like the sounds of that.
All right.
Yeah. If the American League wants to be the American League, that's fine too. By the way, the other thing we even didn't discuss is what happened to the rivalry between two leagues. Isn't it fun to have two separate leagues? I think it is. I like the National League. I like beating American League teams, even though it's watered down now with interleague play. But now you've got the DH in both leagues, what good are leagues? It's all one major league. There's no American League, no National League.
No.
The only thing that separates these two leagues right now is the DH. One league has it, one league doesn't. Let's keep it that way.
Okay. In a couple of years, why don't you run for commissioner?
No, I'm not smart enough for that. I can tell you that. I wouldn't want that job for all the money. You couldn't pay me enough. That's a no-win deal right there. You have to answer to 30 owners, all the fans, and all the players and the players' union. That's a thankless job, in my opinion. I think Rob Manfred. In fact, we had him on a Zoom conference call about 2 weeks ago with some of our top sponsors and suite holders. He and Bob Nutting and Ben Charrington and Derek Shelton. And we started off, and basically I chatted with the commissioner for almost a half an hour about the questions that are still ahead of him, the naysayers that he had to battle. Because a lot of people, Bill, you and I talked about this early on when the baseball season was about to start.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people who thought, almost wishing, that the season would not be completed. He fought that. He talked about how he does not concede. Back to that word. And he said, "I'm a fighter, and I believe that this season has to be completed, and we're going to have it completed." And despite the naysayers and the doubters, he I thought did a great job, and we talked about that and a host of other issues that he faces. But I think overall, I just think Rob Manfred's done a real good job. Now, I begged him in the past not to allow the DH to come to the National League full time. I don't know if that has fallen on deaf ears or not. We'll find out for 2021, I guess.
Okay. Next week we'll talk about lowering the pitching mound like they did on this date back in '68. Okay?
Oh boy, yes sir. Year of the pitcher.
Yeah, you're the pitcher. All right. I like arguing with you, GB.
I love it.
Okay, and we got to go. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Lola.
And we'll be right back. All right. That was pretty good conversation. No, eliminate it completely. All right. How about that? All right. I like pitchers throwing at pitchers in case the pitcher on the other team throws at my good guy, then you can hit him in the butt. How's that? We are AM 1600 with a variety show. The Odd Couple will return with a guest again in the studio.
New Belgium Fat Tire Amber Ale is now available in West Virginia and distributed locally by wine and beverage merchants. With its toasty and biscuit-like malt flavors blended perfectly with hoppy freshness, it's bound to become one of your new favorite craft beers. Fat Tire Amber Ale is now available at local retailers. Please don't drink and drive, and drink responsibly. From your friends at Wine and Beverage Merchants.
In a world where Nailers hockey starts in December, where seating is very limited, and mini plans or season tickets are just a phone call away. Are you ready? Call 304-234-GOAL. Call the Wheeling Nailers office for details. 304-234-GOAL. The Return, opening December 12th.
It's the Christmas traditions that make this time of year so special. Like spending time with family and friends, the spirit of giving, remembering our blessings.
May your holidays be truly bright. Merry Christmas from Main Street Bank.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
CA House Music has all the gear to make your music legendary. With all the best gear, including Fender, Epiphone, Yamaha, and more, CA House will have you rocking in no time. Get the most for your money with everyday low prices. And we meet or beat internet pricing. Play before you buy and let our product specialists help you pick out the instrument that's right for you. CA House Music, supporting local musicians since 1872. Play music for life.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Hey man, what can I get you?
Yeah, can I have 2 Coors Lights?
You got it. Hey Mike! I need 2 Coors Lights!
Sure thing. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go.
Thanks, Mike. Doing a great job. All right, 2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Hey, they don't call it the world's most refreshing beer for nothing.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you really have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Chris DePlogan family of top-notch landscaping and supply would like to wish all their customers, past, present, and future, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bring the whole family to their lighted lot for that special Christmas tree while supplies last. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's DePlaga's top-notch landscaping and supply located at 140 Peninsula Street in Fulton, where everybody goes for their tree.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. The tributes continue to Charleston Patrol Officer Cassie Johnson, who was removed from life support yesterday, one day after being shot in the line of duty. Charleston's mayor, Amy Goodwin, says the grieving is only really beginning.
We're celebrating and we're talking about Cassie today, and we're planning on her final wishes and her final resting place this week. But this community is going to be hurting, and it's going to be hurting for a long time.
Charleston Police Chief Tyke Hunt says Johnson will live on in other ways as an organ donor. He says it's a tough time in the city police department.
We'll get through it, together, and with the Lord's help, we will get through it.
There was a vigil last night at Charleston's Laidley Field remembering the 28-year-old. Her mother, Cheryl Johnson, spoke there and says seeing the love for her daughter has been moving.
I never dreamed until this happened how many people in this community loved her. And that means more to me than anything in this world.
The suspect in this incident, identified as 38-year-old Joshua Phillips, was wounded himself. He remains hospitalized but is expected to live. The State Department of Health and Human Resources confirming more than 1,100 new cases of COVID-19 in today's report, and there are 17,400 active cases in the state. In Barber County, a woman who shot her husband as he slept last year will spend 40 years in prison. That's sentence for 24-year-old Carly Reed of Moatsville. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. A Nicholas County man is headed to prison for the next 3 years after being sentenced earlier today in connection with his missing wife's death. 42-year-old Arthur Woods pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter last week before being sentenced today in the death of 34-year-old Starina Woods. Her body has never been found. A high-pressure system bringing us milder conditions across West Virginia today. Tomorrow, however, we could see a brief wintry mix followed by rainfall, then clearing out by the weekend. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
Tune in to award-winning radio host Howard Monroe in The Morning Show. Weekdays 7 to 10 a.m. only on The Watchdog.
You know, as I look back at the wonderful, fabulous 60s, I remember the Giants at Forbes Field. I don't think I was there, although I probably watched 15, 20 games because I got in Forbes Field, sitting right field seats to see number 21 for like 75 cents. The bus ride was 50 cents. $5, I could have bought 20,000 hot dogs. But I remember, I think it was Tommy Zisk, pitching for the Pirates, hit one of the Dodger stars, Willie Davis. Next inning, Don Drysdale, I think, drilled Bill Mazeroski.
Oh, jeez.
So, you know what? We don't need a DH.
No.
But I'm going to get an opinion from our next guest, Justin Malarkey. No relation to the former Steeler tight end, Mike Malarkey. Did you like the DH or you don't, and why?
I do not like the DH. I can understand why the American League keeps it. I mean, offense sells tickets.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I don't think there's too much more exciting in baseball than seeing somebody hit a monster home run, except maybe watching a triple play or something like that.
Or a triple, yeah.
Or a triple, yeah. Inside the park home run.
Inside
I've seen
the
that
park,
before.
Yeah.
But home runs are electric. They sell tickets, so you understand why they keep them. But I was listening to Greg talking. I really agree with him, but with the part about the DH keeping. It's a different mindset for a manager.
Yeah.
And
you brought
that
up a
game
great point about
inside
the World Series.
Yeah, in the World Series, I really think that the DH can put either league at a disadvantage if especially I think the American or a National League team playing in an American League park in the World Series, because they don't keep an open roster spot for just somebody that can hit normally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas that's a big time part of an American League roster.
Yep.
They put in a lot of money for that. So I think it can put the National League teams at a disadvantage there.
Yeah, especially it's a 7-game series, and you know what? If you win the All-Star game, you get the home field
Right,
event.
yeah.
So the American League would have 4 home games with the DH. National only 3 without the DH. So there's
Correct.
the big disadvantage.
Right.
So okay, we'll cover this conversation up with none of the 4 of us, 1, 2, 3, 4, cares for the DH. I like the fact that, you know, if you're a pitcher and you hit somebody, maybe a star player, thank goodness you won't hurt him maybe.
Right.
But
you might get it.
Fastball high and in.
Yeah.
But you hit him maybe in the chest or whatever, in the butt. And then the next inning or next couple of innings, one of your better players might get hit.
Or you even when you're up to bat.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen a couple times.
Yeah, well, if you hit me in the head, you know, the ball's going to bounce a couple feet away and I'll start running. Whoop, you can't run on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. What I wanted to ask you was, I go to this Greasy Spoon in Washington, the Doghouse.
Yeah,
You ever been there?
Oh, I grew up maybe about a quarter mile away from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was been there several times.
It's like Lola's favorite place in, was it Bridgeport, Lola? Sunnydales?
Sunny Boys.
Sunny Boys. It's like Sunny Boys.
Yeah.
You get like eggs and steak and stuff for $5 or $6.
In big portions too.
Yeah, I'll get a big omelet. I think they put 6 eggs in when I only asked for 2.
Right.
Hash browns, corned beef hash, toast, coffee, like $5.99.
Oh yeah.
A lot of old, I don't want to say that. A lot of old gassers go there, and I'm one of them. I'm talking to a couple of people, and a guy came over to me who listens to me on the internet, and he said, "You know what? I bowled in the Capitol back in the '60s. Must have been early '60s. I don't know."
Probably. I think if memory serves right, they got rid of the lanes in '63 or '64,
Okay.
right around that age.
Well, he's like 89, so
Yeah.
whatever, you know. And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Oh yeah, you go downstairs, right? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
yeah." So that would be. I wish somebody had some pictures.
Did I take you down there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I took you down
Remember, I
there or
took
not.
pictures of the bulletin board with the great jokes that we can't use on the air.
That's right. Yeah.
And the great record collection from whatever radio station is still there, or
Yeah.
that's a haunted studio up there now. But yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Not very many people up there right now.
No, a lot of empty space there.
Yeah. A lot of them are working from home and everything. So.
Me, I'd rather be in the studio in a way, but that's another commentary. But yeah, now I was thinking, I know that the guy from Hee Haw, all right, which was a famous comedy, it was a takeoff on, I don't know what, Laugh In, only country version.
Yeah.
It had all kinds of stars, and I remember Roy Clark, and I know he played at the Capitol. So it's almost like a who's who with country music, let alone rock and roll music.
Oh, especially country music.
My neighbor in Mount Lebanon at the time saw Bobby Vinton there, and he paid like $4.50 for a ticket.
At the Capitol?
Yeah.
Well,
Now you can't get Bobby Vinton there now.
No.
He's Mr. Lonely, but not lonely going to the bank.
Right.
I think he's about 20 grand.
Uh,
What do you think?
that wouldn't surprise me.
Frankie Valli, you could got him cheap before that Four Seasons movie.
Yeah.
You know?
No, Bobby Vinton probably be 15 or 20 probably.
Back then?
No, now.
Oh, yeah.
15 or 20,000.
I'd rather have that Denny Magruder card, hockey card, than see Bobby Vinton. I can see Bobby Vinton on videos on my cell phone. Mr. Lonely.
Yeah. I think they did those trading cards 2 or 3 years back.
He's in uniform, right?
No, he's not in uniform.
Oh.
Well, he's in West Banco. Well, it would have been Wheeling Civic Center still. He's got his Civic Center shirt on. I think it was a pinkish shirt, kind of like what I have. Almost
You
the
have
color
full
I
head
have.
hair?
I think so.
Would I recognize him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's still Denny Magruder.
Okay. I hope, is he coming next week, your buddy?
Ryan?
Yeah.
I think so.
I hope he brings it with him.
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Yeah, I'll tell him I'll give him a quarter.
That's worth more than that.
8x10 picture Lola?
Yeah.
Autograph? Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, okay. That's at least $1 now. But I got to see this card.
Oh, yeah, you got to see that one.
Was it like a special occasion when they just, put it out for the people that came in?
They back when the first few years of the Thunderbirds and people that were around in Wheeling can attest to this more than I can, but they were extremely popular.
Mm-hmm.
And not that the Nailers aren't now, they are, but it was a real big time back
Mhm.
then, and it was packed every single night in there.
Wow.
and they sold a lot of merchandise. Well, they came up with some trading cards for all the players, and they had a couple player or team personnel on there too, and they included Denny in on that in 1 year.
Did you work there when we had the indoor football team back then that won a couple championships back to back?
Greyhounds?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Lola, did you ever have cards for promos for the players?
No, I don't think we did
Okay.
cards.
Okay.
I don't remember them. No, I don't think we did.
Yeah. I remember
We might have. I don't know.
I remember coming down to a game.
For the Greyhounds?
Yeah. I made a friend at Steeler games. Nobody would sit with him because I guess he worked in Steubenville or Wheeling. I went over and met him because I used to watch Channel 7 and 9. I said, "Hey, how you doing, George?" He goes, "Yeah." We became friends. His knowledge of rock and roll music is probably a little bit better than me. I can tell you how long a song is, but he can tell you how long the song on the back of a 45 was.
Oh, that's impressive.
And we collected cards. We used to talk all the time.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I got to know him, he was he the GM of the team, Lola? Yeah, he was the GM of the team. And he said, "I'm leaving you a couple tickets." So I brought a friend of mine who owns a bar, owed him a favor, and he wanted to see indoor football. So we came down, there was no tickets for will call. So I asked, I don't know who was there, Page George. Next thing you know, we're sitting like on the 50-yard line or whatever.
Yeah.
Great seats. It was loud. It was better than a Steeler game. The Steelers weren't that good at that time, but it was great stuff.
Would have been the 25
25 what?
yard line.
25? Okay, whatever. But we was like in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was great stuff. It was great stuff. And, it's just... But George was a cool customer. We used to get a lot of arguments. We had dinner bets and stuff. I'd win a few, he'd win a few. But those were good old days with Mr. Callis. Okay. So maybe I'll see that card next week?
Yeah, I'll tell him.
Yeah.
He should come down here.
Yeah. Hopefully it's in a little plastic container. I don't want to get fingerprints on it.
I don't
You know those little card things?
Yeah.
Well, it might be worth a lot of money.
I have a Terry Bradshaw card in one of those.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is it from like 1970? It's his rookie card.
Yeah, it's a
69. Yeah.
It's from 70.
Okay.
I think.
I'll give you a signed autograph of Jim Frio with hair. I got this thing about the hair. No, but I got to see this picture of Denny. I'll put it on my cell phone and put it out.
Yeah.
Don't tell Denny we're going to do this, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time you have Denny, though, you have to hear his story about how he got a home run ball from Roberto Clemente.
No.
Yes, sir.
He still has it?
Yes, sir.
I'll have to
Yes, he
make a
does.
trade.
From Forbes Field, I believe.
Denny Clemente. He tells me a lot of things, but not that.
I love story time.
Is it signed?
I think it is.
Okay, because anybody could have hit it. Don Hope, Dick
Yeah,
Stewart, he could have said, "Well, Clemente hit this."
No, I think
we need proof.
I think he said he got it signed a couple years later when they moved to Three
River Stadium.
Yeah. I think he got it signed a couple years. He just told me the story 2 days ago.
Yeah, all right.
He has. You've been to Denny's office before, right?
Let me think. Yeah, is that with the plush cushions and the plush couches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
while the poor secretary's working a cubicle using pencils.
Yeah, he's got two different pictures of Forest Field up on the wall behind the couch in there, and so I was asking him the other day if he ever went to games there, and he said, "Oh yeah, I went to a bunch there," and then he told me the story.
Yeah. My son's finally going to put a lot of my stuff on eBay after I've asked him for 3 years. Okay. He said, "Dad, you don't have to give me anything." I said, "Well, you don't pay me for rent, but that's okay."
Yeah.
But one of the things is I hate to give it up, but it's too big. It's a lithograph of Forbes Field taken from the third base, okay?
Oh, very cool.
With 9 signatures of Pirates from the 60s.
Oh, that's got to be worth something.
Yeah, but you know what? If somebody like in L.A. wants it, if they don't want to pay shipping,
sucks.
it's an arm and a leg.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, yeah, it's good, though. Yeah. Danny hasn't been on for almost 6 weeks, like I keep track. So
He's a busy man.
Yeah. What's he doing?
He's
Is he figuring out the schedule for the ushers?
No, he doesn't. We've got other people in
I know,
charge
I
of
know,
that,
I know.
but he's been, the details working out between the health department and,
Yeah.
and the nailers and everything else, and it's constantly changing. Yeah. That's the problem. We make
plans and they change.
Exactly.
Daily.
Exactly. We have to be ready for anything.
Is it still looking good for December 11th for the Nailers or 12th? The 12th?
Yeah, the 12th.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're going to have a couple fans there.
Okay. You going to allow media there? Well, I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if there's no hockey, DJ's going to commit suicide. Yeah. That poor guy.
Yeah.
Think of his job.
Right.
He does marketing. He does housing for on the road.
Yep.
He's going to do housing for the players, and he probably can't go on the road. He's got to do the game from like a studio.
I think he's in their bubble, though.
Okay.
Pretty sure he is.
Yeah, he can't come in here anymore.
Yeah.
He has to do everything by the Zoom. You guys Zoom?
Oh, yeah. We've
Okay.
done some Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
Now a lot of their, well, not a lot, but they've got some guys in the bubble there. Sorry about that.
That's a $500 fine.
Yeah.
Give half of it to Lola, will you? Go ahead.
Trying to silence it here.
That's okay. Don't worry
It
about
started
it.
vibrating.
My Frank Sinatra goes off every once in a while.
Yeah.
So, that's live. Whoops. But, he's got everybody has a tough job now, you know? Especially if you're the owner of a restaurant or something, you might have to lay off people. How tough is that?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to deal with that.
No, a lot of radio stations, friends of mine, are out of jobs, furloughed. They might not ever come back or whatever. Sure, you might get unemployment for a few weeks, but you might not have a job, you know?
Yeah, some of my friends at the radio station up in the Capitol, they've had that issue.
Is there a radio station up there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. When was that? No, it's okay. I had 20-some years there.
Yep.
But that's part of history, whatever. But it's tough. It's tough. That's why it was difficult for me when I was running things at ESPN that I was told by management, you got to get rid of some news people because you're going all sports.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to fire some people.
Yeah.
But they got nice severance checks.
That's good.
Before they quit. A couple of them was ready to quit.
Yeah.
One of them, Doug Hirth, he wanted to quit. He says, you're going all sports, Bill. You don't need me. I said, don't quit, because I knew I had to fire him. By not firing him and then firing him, all right, because I kept him on his staff, he got a severance check of $55,000. People still see me crying in the parking lot, giving him a hug while he's smiling, holding a check. I didn't have to do that, but I got fired about a month later for doing that, whatever. You think when you fire somebody, that's somebody's livelihood?
Right.
That's your family? That's an
family.
income?
Yep.
That's a mortgage payment? Maybe you can't pay the utilities? It has a downhill effect.
Absolutely.
Well, whatever. I got to see that card. Tell Ryan I want to see that card.
Denny
You
has
tell
one,
Denny
too.
Magruder, too. I want to see that Clemente ball.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to ask him about that
I
one.
wonder if he'll trade for that.
I doubt it.
No?
He loves baseball.
Does he?
I think that's one of his...
How come
If-
he's
if
never
you
been
ask
to a
me-
Wild Things game?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll have to ask him on the air.
Yeah.
I can even have him throw the first pitch. Can you see Denny?
Oh, he'd probably practice for it, too.
No. Well, yeah, I can't stop him yet. Okay. But I've had media guys, I won't mention Jimmy Roach, who bounced it twice to home plate.
You won't mention him, huh?
No. But then I had him come in again, and he threw a fastball right down there. He said, too bad you weren't batting, Bill. Why? I could have hit a fastball. He said, no, I hit you in the head. Oh, some great stories. Yeah, Denny Magruder with a Clemente ball.
Yeah.
I might give him a Clemente program. I got a couple of them when they honored him in 1970.
Okay.
How about that? That's his payment for being on the show.
Yeah,
Hey,
there
thank
you
you,
go.
man. It's always
No
a
problem.
pleasure to talk to you. We all agree no more DH.
That's right.
All right. Speaking of DH, he's our designated hitter, especially on Thursday, and that is Donnie Gilbert, Quaker Steak and Lube. He likes to eat. Go join him. Maybe he'll save a drumstick for you.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto